Ever felt like you're walking through a world full of performers? Everyone wearing masks, pretending to be something they're not. But here's the secret. Once you learn how to see beyond the facade, you'll uncover the truth beneath the act. I'll never forget sitting in a meeting, watching everyone's polite smiles, nods, and rehearsed lines. But beneath those carefully constructed images, I could sense the hidden agendas. The truth wasn't in their words, but in their pauses, their silence, even their body language. It's a skill anyone can master, and once you do, it will completely transform the way you see people. Ready to uncover what they're really hiding? Let's dive into these strategies that can help you decode people without them realizing it. But before we begin, please like and subscribe to our channel. 1. The Tell Me More technique. Imagine having a superpower that allows you to get people to open up without them even realizing it. That's what the Tell Me More technique feels like. It's not flashy, it doesn't involve any special equipment, and the best part? It's incredibly simple. All you need to do is stay calm, listen, and ask 3 little words. Tell me more. I stumbled across this approach during a heated debate with a friend. The topic? Whether pineapple belongs on pizza. I was ready to counter every argument they threw at me. But instead, I decided to try something different. I simply said, "Tell me more." What followed was fascinating. The conversation shifted from pizza toppings to stories about family dinners, childhood memories, and even why they despised pineapple as a kid. It wasn't just about pizza anymore. It was a deep dive into their inner world, all sparked by those 3 words. When people feel genuinely heard, they let their guard down. They stop defending themselves and start sharing their motivations, fears, and insecurities. This technique creates a safe space where they feel comfortable enough to drop their defenses. They may think they're just chatting, but in reality, they're revealing more about themselves than they intended. I've used this approach everywhere, from business negotiations to casual conversations. Once, during a tense negotiation, I kept repeating, "Tell me more." By the end, the other party had laid out their entire strategy, including their reasons for desperately needing the deal. It was like they handed me the playbook, and all I did was listen. But this isn't just about gaining an advantage. It's a way to foster connection. In a world where most people are quick to speak but slow to listen, saying, "Tell me more," shows genuine curiosity. It forces you to step out of your ego, stop planning your next response, and truly engage with the other person. The result? You build trust, understanding, and even a sense of healing. This technique reflects a core Stoic principle: empathy without attachment. You're not trying to control or manipulate the conversation. You're observing, understanding, and staying calm. It's not just about reading people. It's about seeing them for who they really are and giving them the space to reveal their true selves. 2. Watch how they treat others. If you want to understand someone's true character, don't just focus on how they treat you. Pay attention to how they treat those in lesser positions. It's one of the most revealing aspects of a person's personality. Whether it's a waiter, a cashier, or a junior colleague, their behavior towards people with less power speaks volumes. I learned this the hard way. I once worked with someone who seemed incredibly charming and respectful in meetings. But one day, we went out to lunch, and I saw a completely different side of them. They were rude to the waiter, barking orders and acting like they were above everyone else. It was a shocking revelation. This wasn't just a one-off incident. It was a glimpse into their true nature. The truth is, people show who they really are when they think no one important is watching. If someone is kind to you but dismissive or cruel to others, they're not truly kind. They're calculating. They're playing a role to impress you or gain something from you. Stoicism teaches us to observe behavior objectively, and this is one of the clearest indicators of integrity. Kindness isn't about convenience or gain. It's about consistency. Someone who treats everyone with respect, regardless of status, is secure in themselves. They don't need to elevate themselves by stepping on others. On the other hand, cruelty often reveals insecurity. People project their inner struggles onto those they perceive as weaker. If you want to know who someone truly is, watch how they treat people who can't offer them anything. It's a test of character that rarely fails. 3. The past shapes the present. People often say, the past is in the past, but that's not entirely true. Our past experiences shape who we are today. Understanding this can provide valuable insight into why people act the way they do. I once had a friend who was constantly on edge, defensive, quick to anger, and overly cautious in relationships. At first, I thought it was just their personality, but as I got to know them better, I learned about their past. They'd been betrayed by people they trusted, faced financial struggles, and grew up in an environment where they constantly had to prove themselves. Suddenly, their behavior made sense. Their defensiveness wasn't random. It was a shield forged by past pain. Our past leaves marks, sometimes scars, that influence our actions and decisions. A person who felt neglected as a child might crave attention as an adult. Someone burned by a business partner might become overly cautious in future collaborations. This doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it helps us understand its roots. Stoicism teaches us to view things as they are, without judgment. By understanding someone's past, you can see them more clearly and approach them with empathy. This insight is invaluable in relationships, whether personal or professional. It's not about excusing actions, but about seeing the bigger picture and understanding the why behind the what. Body language never lies. Words can be carefully chosen, but the body often betrays what the mind wants to hide. This isn't just some pseudoscience. It's a truth supported by psychology and observation. People may try to present a calm and collected demeanor, but their body language often reveals their internal struggles, fears, and true feelings. Think about the coworker who says they're fine after a heated meeting, but their clenched jaw and crossed arms say otherwise. Or the friend who insists they're excited about your plans, but avoids eye contact and fidgets uncomfortably. These non-verbal cues often carry more weight than the words being spoken. Why does this happen? The body operates on instincts, while words are crafted consciously. When someone is nervous, their body might respond with sweating, a quickened heartbeat, or restless movements, things they can't fully control. Similarly, excitement might show in the form of open gestures, leaning in, or an uncontainable smile. Stoicism teaches us to pay attention to these subtle signals without judgment. By observing someone's body language, you can gain insight into their unspoken truths. For example, if someone avoids eye contact during a conversation about trust, it might be a sign that they're withholding information or feeling guilty. A person's posture can reveal their confidence or lack thereof, even when their words sound self-assured. Understanding these signals doesn't mean you should jump to conclusions, but it does help you approach situations with greater clarity. For instance, if a friend seems closed off and distant despite saying everything is fine, you might gently ask if they want to talk. Often, people's body language expresses what their words cannot. This awareness also applies to your own actions. Reflect on how your body responds in different situations. Do you clench your fists when frustrated? Avoid eye contact when anxious? These are opportunities for self-awareness. By aligning your body language with your intentions, you embody the Stoic principle of living authentically. 5. Consistency is the ultimate test of character. One of the most reliable ways to understand someone's true nature is to observe their consistency, or lack thereof. A person's actions over time are far more telling than any single moment. It's easy to show kindness or patience once, but does that behavior persist when circumstances get tough or when no one is watching? Consistency builds trust. If someone repeatedly follows through on their promises, you know you can rely on them. Conversely, if their actions fluctuate depending on their mood, the situation, or who's watching, it signals instability. For example, a friend who's supportive one day and dismissive the next might not have the emotional stability to be a reliable confidant. The same principle applies to ourselves. As a Stoic, strive for consistency in your values and actions. If you value honesty, practice it in all areas of your life, not just when it's convenient. If you believe in treating people with respect, extend that respect to everyone, not just those who can benefit you. People's patterns of behavior are like the chapters of a book. One chapter might be misleading, but the overall narrative reveals the truth. When someone shows you who they are repeatedly, believe them. And when you examine your own actions, ask yourself, are my behaviors consistent with the principles I claim to uphold? Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about striving to act in alignment with your values, even when it's challenging. As you cultivate this in yourself, you'll naturally attract others who live by similar principles. If you enjoyed this piece of content, do well to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check the description of this video for ebook materials to sharpen your Stoic mind in 2025. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. 6. Micro-expressions. The hidden clues in a flash. Micro-expressions are those fleeting, involuntary facial expressions that reveal a person's true emotions before they have a chance to hide them. They're universal, spanning all cultures and demographics, and they can be a powerful tool to understand someone's inner state. You're pitching an idea to your boss. They're smiling and nodding along, but when you mention one particular aspect of your plan, you catch a brief micro-expression of disapproval, a quick tightening of their lips. Although it lasts for just a split second, it signals that this part of the plan might be a sticking point. As a Stoic, cultivate stillness and attentiveness. Observe without reacting emotionally to what you see. Practice noticing micro-expressions by watching interviews or speeches where emotions might leak through. Combine this skill with empathy. Use what you observe to engage with others thoughtfully, not to manipulate them. Detach from judgment and focus on understanding others as they are. 7. Body language. The unspoken language of the human body. Body language includes gestures, posture, and movement, all of which can reveal someone's emotional state or intentions. Often, people say one thing with their words and something entirely different with their bodies. You're at a networking event. Someone you're speaking with says they're interested in working with you, but their arms remain crossed, their feet are angled toward the exit, and they frequently glance around the room. These cues suggest they may not be as interested or invested as they claim. Be mindful and grounded in your observations. Avoid jumping to conclusions based solely on one gesture. Look for clusters of body language signals. As a Stoic, focus on building genuine connections. If someone's body language suggests discomfort, adjust your approach with kindness and patience, rather than taking offense or forcing engagement. 8. Word choice and verbal patterns. Reading between the lines. The specific words people choose, the phrases they repeat, or the way they structure their sentences often hint at deeper emotions or concerns. A friend says, "I'm fine," when you ask how they're doing, but they repeat it in a way that sounds defensive. Later, they describe their week with phrases like, "I'm just getting by," or "It's been a lot." These subtle patterns suggest they may be feeling overwhelmed or hesitant to open up. As a Stoic, listen actively and without judgment. Pay attention to the subtext of someone's words without letting it affect your emotional equilibrium. Ask open-ended questions to invite deeper conversation, and offer your presence without trying to fix everything. Words are a window. Use them to understand, not to criticize. 9. Baseline behavior and deviations. Spotting the unusual. Everyone has a baseline, a normal way of acting in neutral situations. When someone deviates from this baseline, it's often a sign of stress, deception, or emotional change. You're working with a colleague who is usually relaxed and cheerful. One day, they're unusually quiet and avoidant during a team meeting. This deviation from their baseline suggests something might be bothering them, even if they don't say so. Develop your observational skills by noticing baseline behaviors in others over time. When you spot a deviation, remain calm and non-judgmental. Approach the person with kindness and curiosity, but don't force them to share. Stoics understand that everyone is fighting their own internal battles. Respect their privacy and offer support when needed. 10. Contextual behavior. Actions speak differently in different situations. People behave differently depending on the environment and social context. Understanding these shifts can provide insight into what influences their actions. Your normally outgoing sibling becomes quiet and reserved during a formal family dinner. This change could indicate discomfort or a reaction to the environment, rather than a reflection of their overall personality. Practice observing how context influences behavior, including your own. Recognize that the same person may act differently in various settings without it defining who they are. Remain adaptable in your interactions and avoid assigning fixed labels to others. As a Stoic, embrace the fluidity of human nature with patience and compassion. 11. Silence and pauses. Listening to what's not being said. Silences and pauses in conversation often carry as much weight as spoken words. They can indicate hesitation, reflection, or discomfort. During a one-on-one discussion with a team member, you ask them how they feel about an upcoming project. They hesitate before responding and then give a vague, non-committal answer. The pause suggests they might have concerns they're not voicing directly. Use silence as a tool for deeper listening. Resist the urge to fill the space or push for immediate answers. Allow others the time they need to process their thoughts. A Stoic embraces the art of patience and finds meaning in what is unsaid, maintaining an open and empathetic stance. 12. Pattern recognition across situations. Connecting the dots. Human behavior often follows patterns, even in different contexts. Recognizing these patterns can help you understand someone's motivations or predict their actions. A co-worker frequently volunteers for extra assignments but never delivers them on time. This recurring pattern could indicate a struggle with time management or a desire to please others despite being overwhelmed. As a Stoic, look for patterns without judgment. Use them to guide your expectations and interactions with others. Recognize that repeated behaviors often stem from internal struggles. Show understanding and offer solutions when appropriate, but avoid being drawn into frustration or blame. 13. Eye contact, the windows to the soul. Eye contact reveals much about a person's confidence, interest, or intentions. Too much or too little can signify varying emotional states. You're on a first date. Your date maintains steady eye contact when talking about their passions, but looks away nervously when discussing a difficult past experience. This shift suggests both their enthusiasm and their vulnerability. Maintain balanced and genuine eye contact to foster trust and connection. Observe changes in others' eye contact without judgment. Use what you see to adapt your responses with empathy and respect, ensuring you're both present and considerate in the interaction. 14. Physical cues during stress. Signs of the pressure cooker. Stress often shows up physically, through fidgeting, sweating, or changes in breathing. Recognizing these signs can help you respond appropriately. During a presentation, your colleagues' hands shake slightly as they hold their notes. Their voice wavers, and their breathing seems shallow. These physical cues suggest nervousness, despite their attempt to appear composed. Observe stress signals with compassion, not criticism. Offer reassurance to those who seem overwhelmed, and remember that everyone experiences stress differently. Stoics maintain their own calmness in the face of tension and serve as a grounding presence for others. 15. Environmental influence on behavior. The power of surroundings. People's behavior often changes based on their environment, reflecting their comfort level or social dynamics. Your friend is animated and talkative at a small gathering, but becomes quiet and withdrawn in a bustling, crowded event. This change highlights how the environment influences their behavior. Adapt to the energy of your environment while remaining anchored in your own values. Observe how surroundings affect others, and use this understanding to create spaces of comfort and safety. A Stoic recognizes that the external world influences, but doesn't define our inner peace. If you enjoyed this piece of content, do well to like and subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to check the description of this video for ebook materials to sharpen your Stoic mind in 2025. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.